The Facebook notification pinged at 7:23 a.m. while I was making coffee, and that's when my marriage officially died. Not with tears or screaming, but with a cheerful little ding from my phone. "Nick, you've been tagged in a photo." My wife Erica was supposedly at a spiritual retreat in Colorado, finding herself through meditation and organic smoothies. At least, that's what she'd told me 3 days ago when she kissed my cheek and wheeled her suitcase toward her Honda Civic. "I need to reconnect with my inner truth," she'd said, her voice dripping with the kind of self-help nonsense she'd been spouting since joining that yoga studio downtown. I'd nodded supportively because that's what good husbands do. "Take all the time you need, honey. Find those chakras." Now I was staring at a photo of Erica on a beach in Cancun, her arms wrapped around Mason Reese, the cocky real estate agent who sold houses in our neighborhood. Her cousin Jenny had posted it with the caption, "Living their best life." The couple goals, yet paradise. Apparently enlightenment comes with a bikini and room service. Who knew? I screenshot the photo before Jenny inevitably deleted it, then scrolled through the album. There were 12 more pictures. Erica feeding Mason strawberries, Mason's hand on her ass while they posed by a pool, both of them laughing in what was clearly a hotel room with one king-sized bed. My phone buzzed with a text from my buddy Pete. "Dude, nice retreat. Your wife's chakras aligned right onto that guy's lap." I poured my coffee and sat at the kitchen table, studying the photos with the detached interest of an IT support manager debugging a particularly stupid user error. Because that's what this was, really. Erica had made a classic mistake. She'd forgotten about the digital trail. See, when you're married to someone who works in tech, you learn that everything leaves a trace. Every login, every photo, every credit card swipe. Erica thought she was being clever, but she'd left more breadcrumbs than Hansel and Gretel. I opened my laptop and got to work. First stop, our shared credit card account. Sure enough, there were charges from the Cancun Marriott, plane tickets for 2, and a romantic dinner at some beachside restaurant. All paid for with the card I'd given her for emergencies. Next, her email. Erica had never been good with passwords, always using variations of our anniversary date. It took me 3 tries to get into her Gmail account, and there it was, a folder labeled Travel Plans, with confirmation numbers, hotel reservations, and a string of emails with Mason dating back 8 months. The subject lines told the whole story. "Can't wait to see you. My husband suspects nothing. This weekend was amazing." I leaned back in my chair, sipping my coffee. 8 months. They'd been planning this for 8 months, and I'd been completely oblivious. All those late nights at the yoga studio, all those girls' weekends that Cammie, her best friend, had supposedly organized. My phone rang. Erica's contact photo filled the screen, a selfie of us from last Christmas, both smiling like we meant it. "Hey, babe." Her voice was artificially bright. "How are things at home?" "Oh, you know, same old routine. Work, TV, bed. How's the retreat going?" "It's incredible, Nick. Really life-changing. I'm learning so much about myself." "That's wonderful. Are you getting along well with the other people there?" A pause. "Yes, everyone's very supportive." "I bet they are. Hey, Jenny posted some interesting photos on Facebook. You should check them out when you get a chance." Another pause, longer this time. "What kind of photos?" "Just some vacation shots. Nothing important." "Listen, I need to get to work, but we should talk when you get back. I've been doing some thinking too." "About what?" "About us, about our future, about passwords." "Passwords?" "Yeah, I've been updating all our security settings. You know how it is in my line of work. Can't be too careful about digital privacy these days." The line went quiet except for the sound of waves in the background, waves that definitely weren't in Colorado. "Nick, Have a great rest of your retreat, honey. Find that inner truth. I'll see you when you get back." I hung up and immediately got back to work. If Erica wanted to play games, she'd picked the wrong opponent. I might not be able to compete with Mason's 6-pack abs or his BMW, but I had something better: administrative privileges. By noon, I'd changed every password we shared, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Spotify, our bank accounts, the mortgage website, even her Pinterest account. I also canceled her credit cards and had new ones sent to my office. Then I started packing her stuff. Garber Chapter 2, The Alliance. 3 days later, I was donating Erica's designer yoga pants to Goodwill when my doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw a woman I recognized but had never formally met, Kendra Reese, Mason's wife. She was tall, blonde, and looked like she could bench press a Honda Civic. More importantly, she looked pissed. "You must be Nick," she said when I opened the door. "We need to talk." I invited her in, clearing a space on the couch between boxes of Erica's belongings. "I found the photos," she said without preamble. "Jenny's Facebook album. My husband's been lying to me for months." "Join the club. Coffee? Something stronger if you have it." I poured 2 glasses of bourbon and sat across from her. "How long have you known?" I suspected something was up when he started working late every Tuesday. Mason hasn't worked past 5 p.m. in his entire life unless there was a golf tournament involved. She took a sip of bourbon. "But I didn't have proof until this morning. Apparently, your wife kept all his love letters in her email. You hacked her email too?" Kendra smiled, and it wasn't a nice smile. "Honey, I'm a forensic accountant. I don't hack, I audit. And your wife's digital footprint is messier than a toddler's art project." She pulled out a manila folder thick with printouts. "Hotel receipts, restaurant charges, even a jewelry purchase from last Valentine's Day. Want to guess who didn't get jewelry last Valentine's Day?" "Let me guess. You got flowers from the grocery store?" "Gas station. Still had the price tag on them." We sat in comfortable silence for a moment. 2 people who'd been made fools of by the same pair of idiots. "So what do you want to do about it?" I asked. "I want to make them pay, not legally. That's messy and expensive. I want to embarrass them. I want everyone in this town to know what they did." "That's a dangerous game, Kendra. You sure you want to play?" She finished her bourbon in one swallow. "Nick, I've been married to Mason for 12 years. I've watched him fail upward through life, charming his way out of every consequence. But this time is different. This time, he messed with the wrong woman's money." "Your money?" "My inheritance. The down payment on our house, the seed money for his real estate business, even the BMW he's been driving around town. It all came from my trust fund. And according to the prenup he insisted on, if he cheats, he gets nothing." I refilled her glass. "What do you need from me?" "Access. You know their patterns, their passwords, their weaknesses. I know Mason's business, his clients, his reputation. Together we can destroy them without breaking a single law." "Hell hath no fury like 2 people with admin rights." "Exactly." We shook hands, and I felt something I hadn't experienced in months. Excitement. Erica thought she was so smart, sneaking around behind my back. But she'd made one crucial error in judgment. She'd underestimated her husband. Over the next hour, Kendra and I planned our campaign. It was elegant in its simplicity. We'd use Mason and Erica's own arrogance against them. "Mason's hosting an open house this Sunday," Kendra said, scrolling through his calendar on her phone. "Big Colonial on Elm Street. He's been bragging about it for weeks. Says it could be his biggest commission of the year." "What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking Mason never changed the default password on his smart home system, and I'm thinking a little technical difficulty during his presentation might be educational." I grinned. "I like the way you think. There's more. Mason's been telling everyone that his marriage is perfect, that he and I are trying for a baby. He even posted about it on his professional Facebook page last week. While he was screwing my wife. While he was screwing your wife. So when the truth comes out, it's not just adultery, it's public humiliation. His clients, his colleagues, everyone he's been lying to." "And Erica? What's the one thing your wife cares about most?" I thought about it. "Her image. She's obsessed with looking perfect on social media." Then that's where we hit her, hard. My phone buzzed with a text message. "Erica, coming home tomorrow. We need to talk." I showed Kendra the message. She smiled that predatory smile again. "Perfect timing. By tomorrow night, she'll have a lot more to talk about than she bargained for." "What's the plan?" "Phase 1. We let them think they're getting away with it. Mason comes home, tells me some story about a business trip. Erica comes home, probably with some bullshit about finding herself. And then we remind them that in the digital age, there's no such thing as a secret. Every lie leaves a trail, and we've been following the breadcrumbs. I raised my glass. To password resets. To password resets? We clinked glasses, and I felt something I hadn't felt since discovering those Facebook photos. Hope. Not hope for my marriage. That was dead and buried. Hope for justice. Because sometimes when life hands you lemons, you don't make lemonade. You make sure everyone knows exactly where those lemons came from. Chapter 3. The Reckoning. Sunday arrived gray and drizzly. Perfect weather for what Kendra and I had planned. I parked 3 blocks away from Mason's open house and walked over, wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses like some kind of suburban spy. The Colonial on Elm Street was Mason's pride and joy, a $800,000 listing in the best part of town. He'd been bragging about it at the coffee shop for weeks, telling anyone who'd listen that this sale would make his year. I counted at least 15 potential buyers wandering around the front yard, all dressed in that careful, casual way that screamed serious money. Mason stood on the front porch in his best suit, glad-handing prospects and flashing his $1,000,000 smile. He had no idea his wife was sitting in her car across the street, laptop open, fingers flying across the keyboard. My phone buzzed with a text from Kendra. Showtime. Mason had just started his presentation when the first sign of trouble appeared. The smart doorbell began playing Baby Shark at full volume, drowning out his sales pitch. Technical difficulties. Mason laughed nervously, fumbling with his phone. Just give me 1 second. He managed to turn off the doorbell, but 30 seconds later, the automated sprinkler system kicked on, soaking half the potential buyers. I'm so sorry, Mason called out, running toward the side of the house. This has never happened before. While he was distracted, the Roomba emerged from the house and began tracing a very specific pattern on the front lawn, a pattern that, when viewed from the porch, spelled out LIAR in perfectly mowed letters. By now, people were pulling out their phones, recording Mason's meltdown for posterity. Social media gold. But Kendra wasn't done. As Mason finally got the sprinklers turned off, every smart device in the house began playing the same audio file simultaneously. Mason's voice, recorded from one of his calls with Erica. She has no idea, baby. My wife thinks I'm at a conference. We could do this every week. The crowd went silent. Mason's face turned the color of raw hamburger. That's not... I can explain... But there was more. Erica's voice, clear as a bell. I told Nick I was at a spiritual retreat. God, he's so gullible. He actually believed me. Someone in the crowd laughed. Then someone else. Within seconds, the entire group was either laughing or recording, and Mason was standing in the middle of it all like a deer in headlights. Ladies and gentlemen, came Kendra's voice from a hidden speaker, you've just witnessed a demonstration of why you should never trust a man who cheats on his wife to handle the biggest investment of your life. Mason Reese, unfaithful husband, unreliable agent. The crowd began to disperse, muttering among themselves. Mason stood frozen on the porch, his career imploding in real time. My phone rang. Erica. Nick, where are you? I'm at the house and my key doesn't work. I'm running errands. Did you try the doorbell? The doorbell? It's my house. Actually, it's our house. And I changed the locks. Security upgrade. You can't lock me out of my own home. I'm not locking you out. I'm just requiring proper authentication. What's the password? What password? Nick, this is ridiculous. Just come home and let me in. The password is Enlightenment 123. You know, like that spiritual retreat you went on. Silence. Nick, I can explain about the photos. What photos? Oh, you mean the ones from Cancun, with Mason, while you were supposedly finding your chakras? It's not what it looks like. Really? Because it looks like you've been lying to me for 8 months. It looks like you used our credit card to fund a romantic getaway with another woman's husband. It looks like you're a cheating, manipulative... Don't you dare judge me. You have no idea what it's like being married to someone like you. Someone like me? Boring. Predictable. When's the last time you surprised me with anything? When's the last time you made me feel special? I looked across the street, where Mason was now arguing with a potential buyer who was demanding to know if the audio recording was real. You want to know the last time I surprised you? How about right now? Surprise. I know everything. Surprise, I've changed all our passwords. Surprise, your boyfriend's wife just destroyed his career. What are you talking about? Check Facebook. Mason's little smart home demonstration is trending. I hung up and walked back to my car, feeling lighter than I had in months. Phase 1 was complete. Time for the finale. When I got home, Erica was sitting on the front porch steps, suitcase beside her, mascara streaking down her cheeks. She looked up as I approached, and for a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Nick, please, can we just talk about this like adults? Sure. Let's talk. I sat down beside her, keeping my distance. Let's talk about how you've been screwing Mason Reese for 8 months. Let's talk about how you used our money to pay for your affair. Let's talk about how you looked me in the eye every morning and lied. I never meant for it to happen, it just did. Bullshit. You planned this, Erica. I've seen the emails. You two have been plotting this for months. She was crying harder now, the kind of ugly crying that comes when you realize you've been caught red-handed. What do you want from me? You want me to beg? Fine, I'm begging. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I don't want you to beg. I want you to leave. This is my house too. Not anymore. Check your email. I've sent you the divorce papers. You can contest it if you want, but I've got 8 months of evidence that says you committed adultery. In this state, that means you get nothing. Her tears stopped abruptly. You can't do that. I already did. Password reset complete. She stood up, grabbing her suitcase. You think you're so smart, don't you? You think you've won? I think I've learned a valuable lesson about digital security. Next time I'll use 2-factor authentication. She stormed off toward her car, but turned back at the last second. You'll regret this, Nick. You'll be sorry you threw away 12 years of marriage over one mistake. I watched her drive away, then pulled out my phone and called Kendra. How'd it go on your end? She asked. She's gone. How's Mason handling his newfound fame? He's locked himself in the bathroom. The video has 3,000 views and counting. His boss called an hour ago. Past tense? Past tense. Turns out real estate firms don't like their agents trending for the wrong reasons. I looked at my house, really looked at it, for the first time in months. It needed a new coat of paint, and the garden was overgrown, but it was mine. All mine. Kendra? Yeah. Thanks for the partnership. Thank you. Same time next week if Mason tries to contest the prenup? Absolutely, I'll bring the bourbon. I hung up and walked into my house, closing the door behind me. Tomorrow, I'd start over. New passwords, new routines, new life. But tonight, I was going to order pizza, watch whatever I wanted on Netflix, and enjoy the sweet silence of a home without lies. Password reset successful.